Hey, welcome to the 10,000 Swing Challenge. My name is Brandon LaRue, head coach and founder of Well Built Kettlebells. And in this short video segment, we're gonna talk about what not to do when you're doing kettlebell swings. So there's a few flaws, common flaws that people do when they're, maybe they've never been taught how to do the kettlebell swing correctly. Maybe they had a poor instructor or they just watched a video. There's a number of reasons why someone could be doing a kettlebell swing wrong. And it's okay to not be perfect at the kettlebell swing, but if you're gonna do a 10,000 kettlebell swing challenge, you're gonna wanna make sure your technique is pretty sound, because even slight incorrect technique, which in lower volume swings wouldn't be that big of a deal, over the course of 10,000, it can kind of create some, some injuries. Think about a credit card. You know, if you were to bend your credit card 10,000 times, you know, that thing might snap. But if you were to only do it 10 times, it's not gonna snap. That's kind of the point of this video, is to make sure we're doing these with great technique, okay? So let's talk about the things that people oftentimes do wrong with kettlebells. Okay, so number one is oftentimes people don't start correctly, okay? Can you move these kettlebells? They don't start correctly. So many times people just pick up a kettlebell and then they just start kind of swinging it into their swing pattern, okay? A good kettlebell swing starts with the kettlebell on the ground in front of us, okay? Kind of like a long snapper in football, where they would have to grab that thing and snap it deep, okay? That's the first motion we're doing with the kettlebell swing, okay? So make sure whenever you're doing a swing, at least the first rep anyway, because the subsequent reps you won't be coming to the ground, is it starts out in front of you. So you can get into this good hip hinge pattern, okay, where those hips are back, that kettlebell's up front, your chest is up and your back is flat. That's the starting position, okay? So that's mistake number one that we often see. Mistake number two that we often see is breaking too early at the hips on the way back down in a kettlebell swing, okay? So here's an example. All right, if I'm gonna do a kettlebell swing, I swing and then I start to squat too early when that kettlebell is descending. Okay, what you really have to make sure you're doing in a good kettlebell swing is after you get to the top of that swing, that you maintain locked, you stay tight in your glutes and your trunk, and you play chicken with your zipper. That's a good mental cue. Because as that kettlebell is falling, you want to wait until the last second, until your forearms actually touch your rib cage or your trunk, and at that last second you're breaking at the hips. Okay, because when you break here and that moment arm of resistance is out here, it creates a massive amount of torque. It's just physics in the low back when you break too early, okay? If you stay tall, glutes engaged, trunk engaged, and at the very last second you break at the hips, you put that resistance in your center of gravity where you're strong and you can handle loads. The other way you don't, okay? So you gotta make sure that you stay tall, the very last second you're breaking at that hip, okay? Let me show that again. Stay tall, the very last second you're breaking at that hip, rather than tall, and then all of a sudden you're breaking down here. You're breaking way too early, okay? The third mistake that we often see is letting the kettlebell get away from you at the top of the kettlebell swing. Okay, so this is probably one of the lesser injurious things you can do. However, it's still not right. So we're here, we should be tall, and our shoulder blades, okay, should be retracted. Chest should remain tall. Okay, that's our top position. When we do that wrong, when the kettlebell gets away from us, we're here. Okay? I'm exaggerating it here, but those shoulder blades get protracted, meaning they open up, okay? When they should really be retracted. That chest should remain proud and not get concave, and the shoulders get protracted, okay? So we gotta keep those shoulder blades engaged, retracted, lats engaged while we're doing our swings, okay? So that's another common mistake we see. Excessive lumbar extension, excessive low back extension is another mistake that we see. And this one can be one of the most injurious ones when it comes to doing a lot of kettlebell swings, or even a few kettlebell swings. Okay, when we're doing a swing, we gotta think about getting tall, like jumping without our heels leaving the ground, and locking our hips and our quads, locking them simultaneously at the top. You have these two stabilizing forces, gotta lock everything and keep everything safe, okay? But if you drift and you start to use, instead of your glutes, you start to substitute your low back to extend at the top here, that has the potential to hurt your low back and create some spinal injuries. You don't want that, right? So you gotta get good at using your hips to zip it up tall, get tall, tall, and not this action, okay, where you're using your low back and excessively extending the low back, okay, and hyperextending it. That can lead to some injury and some pain. You don't want that. Squat swinging is the last one we'll talk about. Okay, we have to learn how to hinge appropriately. This is one of the most powerful movement patterns in humans is the hinge, okay? The hinge is more of a posterior chain, working your glutes and hamstrings. Squatting is more changing levels north and south. Hinging is a little more east and west. Okay, so when we're doing kettlebell swings, we're hinging and not squatting. Okay, it's this motion here, all right? Hamstrings get taut. It's this motion, okay? That's a hinge. This is a squat. Most people have never been taught the hinge though, so they find themselves doing squat swings, okay? And not only does that lead to them breaking too early, possibly tweaking or injuring their back, but also puts a ton of strain on their knees, okay? Kettlebell swinging is extremely back friendly, extremely knee friendly when you do it correctly by using the hip hinge, okay? So make sure as you're embarking on this 10,000 swing challenge that you're avoiding those common mistakes, and you'll have a great grind of a 10,000 swing challenge, because this is not an easy thing to do, but easy things aren't things that we should strive to do. Hard things, and this swing challenge is what that's all about.